Hello all. Welcome to the session Enable OData Streams in RAP. So in this session, here is Ankita Singh and I am Pavan Kumar from Booking, who will be delivering this session today. So for this session, today we are going to discuss about topic related to streams in RAP. Before I start with the session, I would like to give a overview that just a recap, like few years back, when we enable streams in Gateway using a CSW project. So we will be using corresponding get streams, create streams, update streams, corresponding classes in the DPC and NPC EXT classes in the NPC EXT. But here in the today's session, we will see how that streams, OData streams, we can enable it in RAP-based architecture. So that's the main agenda for this today's session. Yes, we will start with a few introduction slides related to what is RAP first. Yeah, so first two slides, we will just give an overview of RAP and the corresponding RAP architecture, and then we will drill into the topic. Yeah. So you're already aware that, or most of you are aware that, so RAP, ABAP RESTful programming model, is the architecture or the programming development model which is used across development platforms. So here, as a in ABAP Cloud, so this development model is used for building applications. Whether you choose whether it's S/4HANA any premise or S/4HANA private cloud or public cloud or BTP ABAP environment. So RAP is the single development model which you can use for your application development. So here you can see that still you can use classic ABAP development model in S/4HANA any premise and S/4HANA private cloud, but RAP is a single solution which you can use even in the public cloud ABAP environment or across platforms. So now I'm just give an overview of the big picture of RAP, which most of you aware who is working on RAP. Just like a recap, when you build any application on RAP, we do touch this modeling or the big picture here. So when you see the RAP overview of big picture, we'll have data modeling and behavior, business service, provisioning, and consumption. So three layers you have. When we go from down to top, when you build any RAP BO, for example, now we will be showing you a RAP BO which is developed for streaming-based application, a small POC which we have developed. So for that as well, we have developed a RAP application. So initially we started with CDS data modeling for building the application. And then we have enabled transitional capabilities to the application using the behavior definition and implementation. So combinedly, the data modeling and the behaviors definition and implementation together called as business objects here. And once the business object implementation is done for the custom actions or the corresponding standard actions, based on the implementation type you choose, you can go to the servicing part, which is nothing but you can expose that as a projection layer for the UI purposes or the role-based implementation. So in the projections, you will be exposing projections is like a subset for your interface views, and you will also create a behavior projection and implementation for specific UI purposes or role-based purposes. Then once your projection is done, you will expose the entities which you require in the service definition. So which entity should be part of your OData service, you will be defining it in the service definition here. And then you, on top of the service definition, you will be exposing you will be defining the binding, so service binding. So service binding is where you choose the protocol which you would like to choose for your application, whether it's a V2 or V4 protocol, or which scenario you will be using, whether it's a UI purposes or whether it's a web API purposes. So which scenario which will be using, you will be deciding on the service definition. And once you define that, and when you publish the service, you can consume it in different applications, whether it's a data integration or event mesh, or in a SAP Fiori-based applications or UEFI-based applications or web APIs, or even in the analytical scenarios. So whatever you see in the left-hand side is the architecture or the development model for transitional scenarios. The same will be applicable for analytical scenarios as well. So, and you will also have the concept of extensibility, where you can use custom fields and custom logic can be enabled using developer extensibility. So this slide is just talks about the RAP architecture, just to give a recap. So now we will just move on to the corresponding scope of this session today. So which is working with large objects. So when you have your RAP BO and you would like to implement a large objects or stream-based objects in your RAP BO, so ideally you will start with the modeling perspective. So when you have large objects which needs to be modeled in your RAP BO in your CDS views, you need to have three fields basically, which is nothing but attachments, meme type, and file name. So attachment is something where you can upload the raw string type of attachments. So whether it's a CSV or Excel or any other type of attachment which you can upload. The meme type specifies that which type of your the attachment is, whether it's a CSV or the Excel sheet or what is the meme type. And the file name, the name of the file which you upload. And you also see that while you model your BO in the CDS view, you will have semantic annotations which you need to give for these fields. For example, here you need to give semantics.large object is the annotation which you need to give. The properties of this large object will be like meme type, file name, and content deposition preference. So these are the three properties which you need to give for this attachment field. So and the values of these properties are meme type you need to give, and the same type, and then file name. So these are the fields which you give it here. This should be referred properly in the properties. The file name, what you defined, you need to give it here. The content deposition preference is something where the preference which you choose. There are two types of values which you can give here. It's an inline or attachment. So when you give inline, so you are specifying that whether you download, when you click on the attachment, whether you can download it there itself or you need to download it in a new tab, and then you need to download the attachments. The type of preference, you can just give it here, content deposition preference. So basically, these are the three fields which you need to add, and the semantic annotations which you need to add for the large objects when you have such type of large objects in your data modeling. In this session, we will be uploading a Excel-based file upload and Excel-based file download. Hence, we are using Excel-based APIs. We are using standard Excel-based APIs to read the content from Excel and write the content to Excel. So that's where this XEO library, SAP has provided XEO library here. So XEO stands for extension components here. So extension components library. So this library is useful for using reading. So this library offers a set of APIs which you can use it for downloading, which you can use it for your operations to deal with Excel download or reading the data from Excel or writing the data from into the Excel. So I have listed the main APIs which can be used, which we will be using in this session as well, but there are many APIs which can be used. We will be also sharing the corresponding APIs links at the end of the session where you can go ahead and explore. But these are some of the APIs which will be APIs in the sense the classes which will be using it to read the data once the file is uploaded or file is downloaded. Yeah. So XEOCP XLSX is a class which is used for general abstraction. So for the XEO access to instantiate the corresponding object. And then XCOCP XLSX selection is the class which you will be using for doing the selection patterns. So that means that whether you need to read without any restriction entire data, whether you wanted to read or you wanted to read the data with a restriction. So for example, if you wanted to read the data with only from column B, for example, from a sheet, or column C, or you wanted to read from only from sheet 2 or sheet or such type of restrictions, if you wanted to uh, 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 do it in your logic, then you can use this selection. And also one more API called read access, which you can use it for reading the content from worksheet. So this basically, these are some of the APIs which will be using it for in our session, but there is a set of APIs which can be used according to your requirements. So we will deal with streams. So Ankita will explain you regarding the use cases. Yes.
So today in the demo, we'll be covering the following use cases for OData Streams. So the first one is working with large objects, wherein we'll see how to enable the RAP applications to handle large objects, meaning any kind of file uploads and downloads. It could be XLSX, CSV, PDF, all kinds of different file types. But as part of the demo, we'll be dealing with XLSX file upload and download, since that is the most common use case. The second use case that we will cover is upload functionality. So using the RAP custom actions, we'll upload a file. The third would be the download of the Excel file, again using a custom action in RAP. And the last one would be, we'll be showing how to use XCO libraries to read and write XLSX data. And so this can be used from any of the programs or classes that any developer is working on. They could use these libraries to read and write XLSX files. So these are the four main use cases that we'll demo today. And as part of our actual working use case, we developed and used this as, in one of our projects. So that was a full-fledged end-to-end app. But obviously, as part of demo, we can't portray everything. So we have picked up a small use case for XLSX upload and download functionality. So as we can see here, this is the app that we are going to demo. So if you see in the app, we have an option to upload the file. So in the attachment, as soon as we give the annotations, it becomes an upload icon. And from here, the user can upload an attachment. So once the upload is done, the user will be able to see the PO level information, or the data that we are uploading is basically designed for a PO processing. So the user uploads the file and the data gets updated here in the table. And that's what we'll be covering as part of the demo. So as we can see here, the demo use cases, the first two demos are working with large objects and the upload functionality. So I'll be covering these two demos, and then we'll move on to the next part, which is for the download. So this is the Fury application that we have developed for the upload functionality and download functionality. So I'll explain a brief of what this app will do. As we can see here on the first screen, we have developed a list report and then an object page. So on the list report, we have added a default entry for the current logged in user. So for the particular user, we'll be uploading the file. So for the demo purpose, we have just added one entry, which will get created as soon as the user clicks on go. So an entry with the current user gets created here. And when we'll navigate inside, in the object page is where we have the upload functionality and the data that can be previewed and then downloaded. So I will navigate inside this entry. Once we click on the edit, we'll be able to get an attachment option where we can upload the file. So if we see here, it is enabled for upload. I'll just click on the browse and we can take the file from here. So as we can see, as soon as we click on save, the data would get updated here in the below section. And all the 23 records which were there in the file, we are just displaying a demo of the data here. And if we see here, the file which was uploaded is as it is available here for download. So if you click on the file, the exact file with the data which was uploaded will get downloaded here. So as we can see, the file gets downloaded. So we've enabled the upload using semantic.large object annotations, and the file is automatically available. If you want to download it as it is, we can just click on it and it will get downloaded. So I'll just quickly open the file and show the file contents. So as we can see here, there are total 23 rows which got uploaded, and the same data is what we can see in the table in the app. So this is the upload part of the app. I will go to the code base now on how we implemented this in RAP. So there is no custom UI logic for uploading and for enabling all these options. We have built it completely using RAP architecture itself. So we'll see how to enable this in RAP. So we'll start with like we saw the architecture. So first is the data modeling, and then we'll move on to the business services and the service binding. So first we'll cover the database tables that we created. So the first one is just a user table, wherein we are just adding a default entry with the current logged in user. And yeah, so this is the first table. The next table which we have is the table which will be storing the file information. So here, as we can see, as we saw already in the slides, there are three fields that are needed to enable large objects. So which are attachment, MIME type, and file name. So as we can see here, the attachment field needs to be a raw string field so that it will hold the contents of the file. And the MIME type and file name are used to define the attributes of that file, which we'll use later in the semantic.large object annotation. So these three are the mandatory fields that whenever we are dealing with large objects in the table, we need to have these fields. So that is the main one, and rest other fields are we have it for the e-tag enabling in RAP. So I'll move to the third table. The third table that we have here is nothing but a PO data table. So we have just created a custom table to hold the data of that file which we are uploading. So in the file, we have the entry sheet and the PO number and line item number. So all that data is the same structure we have replicated in a table to hold the data. So on top of these database tables, we have built CDS views. So that is where we'll see the annotations that have been used to enable the large objects. So the first view that we see here, it's an interface view built on top of the file information table. So as we can see here, on top of the attachment field is where we are having the set of annotation which we need for enabling large objects. So this is the annotation semantics.large object, and the fields that we need to pass here are the MIME type field and the file name field. So these are the two fields. Apart from that, as we covered, the content disposition preference, we can either pass it as inline or attachment. So depending on that, it will either download the file in the same, it will already download it to your local system, or it will open it in a new tab when you click on the file. So this is the content disposition preference, and there is one more annotation which we have not used here, but you can define the acceptable MIME types that are allowed here. So as soon as you give a CSV MIME type, it will not allow you to upload any other files. So if you are giving a MIME type as CSV and you're trying to upload an XLSX file, the framework will automatically throw an error. So you don't need to do any file type handling here. You can just enable this particular option, acceptable MIME types, and just pass the list of acceptable. So whatever MIME type that you're using, like in our case, it is XLSX, we can get the corresponding MIME type from help.sap.com and we can pass that same value here. Yeah. So this is the annotation, and on the top of MIME type field, we need to have the semantics.MIME type true. So that it identifies that this is the field which is holding the MIME type information. So these are the two annotations which, when we use it, it gets enabled for the large objects. Apart from that, the rest of the processing which is done here is just to set the file upload status and all. So once the file name field is populated, we are setting the status as uploaded and then processed. So these are just some custom logic handling. So on top of these, okay, after that, we have the next view, which is to hold the file data. So this is nothing but an interface view built on top of the table, which is holding the PO data. So on top of both the interface views for the file information and the file data, we have just created consumption views, which we'll be using at the end to expose it. So this is the file information consumption view. It just has all the fields listed down. And then same way for the file data, we have created a consumption view on top of the interface view. So these are the set of OData. These are the set of CDS views that we have created. Apart from that, we have also created metadata extensions for these views. So that is nothing but we have added UI annotations to show the details on the header facets and the item level facet. So for the file information, as we saw that we are showing the file status and all in bold in the top level of the header level of the object page. So for those, we have used these UI facet annotations. And same way in the file data, we are showing the data in a tabular format as soon as the upload happens. So for that, we have just used the UI facet and UI line item level annotations. So these are the metadata extensions. So this covers the entire data modeling that we did for enabling this particular scenario for large objects. We'll also see now what is the behavior definition and what logic we wrote to actually upload the Excel data. So as you can see, this is the behavior definition that we have created for this file upload. Here, mainly we have implemented custom action. So the first one is on the modify of field file name. So as soon as the file gets uploaded, your file name field will get populated with the name of the file. So when the field file name is getting modified, on that we have triggered a determination to add the logic to read the data from the file and to update it to the custom table that we have. So I will navigate to the logic. So first we have some logic to just insert an entry in the table with the current user. As we see on the first screen, an entry with the current user gets added by default. So first that logic is there. And after that, if you see here, this particular EML is where we have called the execute upload Excel data action. So we are calling the upload Excel data action here inside this on the modify of field file name. So I'll navigate to this upload Excel data, and that is where we have written the logic. So it is again an instance-based action. And inside this, we have written the logic to read the data from Excel and pass it to the table. Okay, so I'll move to the logic where we read the Excel. So the first case, as we saw in the slides, we are using the XCOCP XLSX library. And from this API, first we are passing the attachment that we have content from the table. And once we pass the attachment, we will get the reference in this XLSX _ doc. After that, we are calling using that instance or reference, we are calling the read access method. So which will give us a read XLSX instance. And using that, again, we'll call the get workbook worksheet. So we are reading the worksheet at position 1. So in our Excel, we only want to read data from the first tab of the sheet or first worksheet of Excel. So in that case, we are passing the position as 1. But here, if you want your multiple tabs, you want to read all the tabs data, you can loop and take the reference one by one and read all the tabs. So this is the part where we read the worksheet. After that, as we saw in the slides as well, that there is a class available, XLSX _ selection, for generating a pattern. If we want to select specific pattern of data, then we can pass that pattern, like particular column we want to read. So based on that, we can pass a pattern. But for our demo, we are reading all the data. So we are just getting a reference of the pattern without passing any pattern. So it will get all the data for us. So once we have all these, taking the worksheet instance, we are going to call a write to method. So this method is going to write the data into the PO tab table. So once we are reading the data from the Excel and we are writing it to this particular table. So once we have the data in PO tab, we are just moving it to our structure LT Excel data. And after that, we are going to update this data into the RAP view, the entity that we have for the table data. So here, if you see, we are just building here the combined table because it's a parent-child association. So we'll update the file data based on the file info association that we have built to the child table. So once we have all the data here, if you see, this is the modify statement that we are calling. create by association, and then we are passing that particular table with all the data. So it is going to upload all the data in the wrap data table that we have built. So yeah, this is the brief demo of how to upload Excel and then get the data in the custom table. So I'll now hand it back to Pavan, who will explain the download functionality.
Yeah, thanks, Ankita, for explaining the upload functionality. So now we will see the download functionality using custom action. So we in the same application we have used a custom action called download PO data. So this action, what it does is, so when you click on this action, so it gives a pop-up. So where you can give some filters. On the filters, what you have provided the pop-up, you will be able to download the data. So actually, the download, whatever you see it at the right-hand side, which is provided by the standard, also you will be able to download. But so this is a custom-specific functionality of download where you are giving some filters based on your requirement, and then you are going to download it. So yes, this we will see it how we can implement it in the wrap view. Yeah. So once for example, here in this, once the filters are provided and when download button is clicked, then download will be successful. So we have created another app to store the download data. It's a download history application where you'll be able to see all the history of downloads. So each user can download according to his requirement, and he can see the data in a different application. So that's the download history application. So we'll see the demo now, like how the download functionality works using custom action. So I'll go to the same behavior definition. So in the behavior definition, the button is added at the table level, which is the corresponding association level. So here you can see that we have added a static action, so which is download PO data. So this static action, irrespective of whatever may be the data available in the table. So if you provide the filters, you should be able to download the data. So here you can see that. So as soon as when we click, the data should be downloaded from filters. So that's where the abstract entity was given here. So maybe I'll first show the demo so that it would be even more clear. So I'll just go into the demo. So first, you can see that for the same application where Ankita has showed upload functionality and then data gets populated into the table. So I have a download as well. So maybe I'll just click on this download and I can provide some filters here. Maybe I'll just give filter as maybe from January. So I need maybe January 2023 as a filter. And I wanted to give the final entry. So whatever the final PO entry was given, so those, and then the error. So if there are any errors for that entries, I wanted to see that data. So I can click on download PO data button now. So since I have provided some filters. Yeah, maybe I just need to disable the breakpoints. Sorry for that. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see that once the download is successful, you can see that download is successful with some ID. So with this ID, you will be able to go to the other application. So maybe since I can show one more time, just to have a clear picture, maybe I can go to from January, yeah, and then final entry and error. So this is the filter I'm giving. And clicking, I can so download a number of times. It's up to me. So I can just click on download. You can see that the ID got generated. Maybe I'll save the ID. so that I can go to the other application. So this is the history application. So download history application, where I can queue the entry ID here, and I can see the data, whatever is downloaded. So maybe I can click on this attachment to see what is downloaded. Maybe I can click on it so that it got downloaded here. Maybe I can click on open the sheet to see what is the data. So this is the data which got downloaded with error. So that the PO data with error, PO data with final entry, so which has errors, and also with the data from 2023. So these are the data which is fetched from the table. You can also click on go, and you can see the full history here. And if you need to do some descending, and then based on the latest downloaded data with your user, so you will be able to download it. So now we will go to the code-based demo. So how we implemented this download functionality using XEvo library. So just if I go to the code-based ADT again. So as I mentioned, so we have a custom action written for this. So this custom action is giving as soon as when you click it, you are getting a filters. So these filters are coming up with because of abstract entity here. So whatever you see here is a view, which is nothing but the abstract entity. So abstract entity gives the filters. Maybe I'll just navigate to show you that. So this abstract entity, in this abstract entity, we are passing it to the action, so which has filters in it, like valid, from, final, and error. So these filters will be passed to the corresponding action called download. Now I will go to the download action, how the code was written to download the data. So in the download action, custom action, first I'm reading the filters. So first 3 filters, which is selected from the UI. And I'm passing the filters into the corresponding the data from the file data, which Ankita showed related to the file. And here the logic starts related to the XEvo library for writing the data into the Excel. So you will have this XEvo XLS API, where you can get the write access instance. With this write access instance, you will be able to get the position 1. So that means that you are trying to push the data into sheet 1. So accessing the first worksheet via this instance. So, and then once you get the instance of the first sheet, you'll also get the pattern. So that means that I'm not filtering any other filter apart from the filters what I have provided here. So I'm fully pushing the data into the sheet. So in case after selecting the data with the filter from the UI, and you wanted to send only few columns into the sheet, then also you should be able to do with the pattern restrict. So, but here in this case, I'm only pushing all the content whatever is available to the sheet. So here I can see that this is the statement which I'm using to writing the internal table to worksheet. So I'm sending the data into write from this internal table to write from. So once after this execution, the data would be sent to the corresponding file, and then you can read the file content. And I'm just doing some operations to insert the data into the other application. So other application to once it is successful, we'll be able to see the data in the history app. So that's where you see that the file is uploaded, and the history will be added in this download history application. So as soon as when you download, the data will be added to download history application. Yeah. So this is about demo related to download functionality using custom action. Now we'll go into the slides now. So we have one more demo left, which is related to using XEvo library to read and write XLS content. So we have already shown this XEvo library in the custom actions, in the upload functionality and the download functionality with respect to RAP-BO. So, but in case if you wanted to use this XEvo library outside of the RAP-BO in your custom in any of your class or a program, just to read the content and write the content, you will be also able to do that. So that's what the demo which we would like to show that also. So maybe I'll just going to we have created a class. So for example, here this is the class which we have created apart from the RapBO. So this class is something where it is we are using this class as a utility to create and then also update the worksheets here or read the worksheets. So first step is what I'm trying to do is I'm reading the whatever the content. For example, if I just go into the any of the ID which is uploaded already, I should be able to read in my internal table whenever I would like to have. For example, if here you can see there is one ID. So this ID, I would like to read what this ID which is uploaded in this download application. I wanted to just read that data to perform some internal calculation. So my requirement is to read the data. So I can use the read entity EML statement with that BO. And I can pass the end user. For example, here that the end user is the key which you need to pass. So I'm reading all the three attachments, beam type and file type. And then once I'll be able to get the attachment data. So these attachment data, again, I need to use the XLS content. So whatever we showed it in the upload functionality and the download functionality. So same libraries will be using it. So to read the content, so we'll use XLS.read access. So we get the read and we wanted to read the worksheet one. We only have one sheet. Since we are using the same position one here, we are reading all the pattern without restriction. And then we are displaying the data, the PO data. So for example, now if I click on console now, maybe if I execute this class with F9, which is running as ABAP application, if I go to the console, you can see that the data is read from that user or whoever has uploaded it. You can see that the data is read, whatever he has uploaded. You are able to see that in the console here. Yeah, this is about reading the data. So we use the same XLSX library, XEO library here for reading the data. Now the same, if I uncomment and show you how we can write the data. So I can also show that. So I can uncomment that. So my next step is to create a new content here. So whatever, with any criteria, I wanted to create a new content. So that gets inserted into download application. That means that using my class or a program, I wanted to insert a data into my Fiori application with a new file content. So here also the logic remains same, what we have used in the download functionality, but we're just showing how we can do that. Yeah. So this same XEO library we'll be using for write access. So it will create an empty sheet, and then we access the first sheet. So either you can access any sheet. If you wanted to store it in a second sheet, also will be able to create that second sheet. And you can see that we wanted to now only use the errors. So I wanted to get the download or the sheet, the file gets uploaded into download history app only with error is equal to X. So whatever the PO data which has errors, those needs to be uploaded. And I'm using the pattern all and pushing the data from internal table, whatever I got from the database table to write from. So we are using write from to store the data into. So this statement will perform writing the internal table to the worksheet. So I can read the file content and the whatever logic, the logic is to enter store the data in the history app. Now I can activate the class. Now I can run the class. So maybe I'll clear the console just to show you here again. So when I click on F9 as run as a ABAP application, if I just open the console again. So first step is read, which we saw it already. So now I got a write as well. So the database is updated. Maybe you can check in the Fieri app with the new content, whatever I have uploaded. Maybe I can just go to the Fieri application again, and I can give the ID again, which I have created from the ABAP class. So this is the new data which got created. So maybe I can download the attachment now. So this attachment, which I have added out of 23 entries, whatever I have, so only the error PO data only got inserted into the download history app. So yes, so that's about the demo related to if you wanted to read the same set of XCO library outside of the RAPBO, whether it's a class or a program, you should be able to do that. Yeah. So with this, we complete the demo with all the 4 use cases, starting with how do you work with the large objects in your RAPBO? How do you upload the functionality using custom action? How do you download the functionality using custom action? And how do you use XCO library in your program, whether it's a class or a report? So that's a use case. That's about the use cases. Now coming to some important information which we would like to share here is links. So when we started with our project or this use case, we explored different help documentations, different blogs, which helped us to achieve our functionality. So the same which we would like to share. So working with large objects help documentation. So XCO library means where you can not only the APIs which we have showed in the slides, all the APIs which you can use it. There's so many set of libraries which are available. Like if you wanted to read some particular sheet or particular cursor or particular end data from the Excel content, you will be able to use that XCO library from here. You will see all the APIs here, and you will also see specific related to Excel and some of the blogs which we have referred related to Excel upload. These are the blogs which you can refer. And the last blog is something related to mass upload functionality using UI5 control called file uploader. So we did not use that in our current demo, but it's worth to share. So since we put that block here, the last block will explain you how you can use file uploader functionality, file uploader Fieri element app in using UI5 as well. So that's worth to watch using that block. You can try it. Yeah. So that's about the important links which we would like to share here related to streams in RAP. So I think that's about the session today. So thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this session related to streams in RAP. But anything related to streams which you would like to ask, any questions, you can contact us. These are the links which the LinkedIn links which you can use it and contact us in case if you need any information or any questions which you would like to explore. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending the session. Yeah.